Merry Christmas. Some thoughts about the story we hear in Luke at Christmas. And it's a sort of famous passage. You hear it at carol services all the time. Caesar Augustus is the emperor. When Quirinius is governor, there is a census, and Mary and Joseph are dispatched to Bethlehem, the place of Joseph's birth. And what I want to think about is, why did Luke bother to articulate these funny historical people? Maybe, he's trying to establish his credentials as a historian. But I think if you read through that passage, you notice contrast. And the contrast is this. Caesar Augustus is the most powerful person, arguably, who had ever lived in the history of the world up to that time. The Roman Empire, of which he is the head, stretches 1,000 miles east of Rome, 1,000 miles north of Rome, 1,000 miles west of Rome, and I don't know, 700 miles south of Rome. It is vast, even by today's standards. This is kind of beyond Europe. Imagine having one person ruling all of Europe and beyond. This is the Roman Emperor. He is incredibly powerful. He's even the son of the divine Julius Caesar. So if God is going to communicate to humans by the standards of the day, surely he would go through Caesar Augustus. Maybe not. Quirinius is the second person mentioned in this chapter. And okay, he's not as powerful as Caesar Augustus, but goodness me, he's pretty powerful. This guy would be, okay, a career civil servant, but he's like a sort of cabinet post. It's a pretty major governorship. It's not the biggest governorship. This is an incredibly successful person, someone who, people would have said that man had a career. When God comes to communicate with humans, does he communicate with him? No, Joseph, Mary, and if you have to pick a profession, shepherds. That's whom the angel visits first. And I think he sets up at the start this chapter with these incredibly powerful characters at the beginning, because they're then not involved. They may never even know the most important thing that's happened under their watch, that Jesus is born. But rather the people who know are, shepherd's quite a lowly profession, terrible hours, you have to sleep out at night. Mary and Joseph, ordinary people. The Christian gospel has always been about the ordinary and the lowly, and we should guard ever against the temptation to try and be someone. The Christian's gospel is not about being someone or making it. It's just about trying to hear God and what God wants of us. And so that famous sort of chapter we hear a lot at carol services, I think is a sort of subversion of status, and is laying it out at the beginning of the Christian story, because that's what is important in the Christian story.